The footage of trees being whipped and bent by the force of an atomic blast has been seen in movies and TV shows for decades. This is all that's left of the atomic forest, stubs sticking out of the ground at Frenchman's Flat. Years ago, we were allowed to wander around there with the help of Darwin Morgan, who for 31 years has worked as public affairs officer for the Department of Energy.
So that was from the Grable test. They put mannequins beside the trees, behind the trees, near the trees, out away from the trees to understand what sort of protection a forest would give a soldier. So I've never seen a forest that was perfectly lined up like that.
The Grable nuke was the only one ever fired from a cannon, but after the hottest days of the Cold War, no one quite remembered where the cannon had been positioned.
Cable ties that the cannon was hooked to.
With Morgan's help, we found that site. Also found was a bunker that had been built directly under the blast of a bomb dubbed Vizio. The bunker was forgotten for 50 years, then reopened as we watched and climbed in. Morgan figures he's made close to 400 trips to what used to be called the Nevada Test Site, leading reporters and dignitaries out to see key places like the massive Sedan crater, which always gets a reaction.
To watch people when they walk up there and see the sheer magnitude and enormity of that crater and how it was formed from a 104 kiloton thermonuclear weapon, it leaves people in awe.
There is much at the site that leaves people in awe. It is a gigantic canvas of secrecy, pockmarked by programs once heavily classified. For 3 decades, Morgan has been sharing those secrets with the public. For example, in the days leading up to the Afghanistan war, the Pentagon tested bunker buster missiles in test site tunnels. And in order to foil terrorists, a secret bioweapons lab was created at Area 12 using over-the-counter equipment.
The Defense Threat Reduction Agency was trying to understand how do you do and detect the signals that are coming from the places that are making those.
Morgan spent 4 years as a Las Vegas TV newsman, took a pay cut to work for the government, and had to get a top-secret Q clearance to see the things he's seen. In effect, he's become the voice of the site and its programs, and part of his job has been to clear up misunderstandings.
You get people coming out here who honestly, journalists coming out here who honestly believe that they're going to see 5-legged rabbits and giant toads and things like that. And going back to your misperceptions, everybody thinks we are Area 51, and Area 51 is part of us.
Area 51 is adjacent to the test site, but is not part of it. And for the record, Morgan says he's never been there. What secrets exist underground? Morgan led us to a place called U1A. It's right out of the X-Files. To get there, you travel down through hundreds of feet of solid rock. At the bottom, a massive lab where subcritical nuclear tests were conducted. The site had the best hard rock miners in the world who dug and blasted hundreds of miles of tunnels, enough to have their own rail lines.
It's nothing more than a long tube.
Some ideas turned out to be dazzling successes, like the gun turret from the USS Louisville warship, converted into a hardy host for sensor equipment during atomic tests. And some ideas didn't work out. These robotic sentries didn't hold up in the blazing summer heat. When the I-Team ran into some men in black types on a highway one day, things could have gone badly. It turned out they were the OST, the Office of Secure Transportation, the agency which transports nuclear weapons. Morgan arranged the first ever look at their training program held in one section of the site.
Close it together and then fire the rocket.
And for the 50th anniversary of President Kennedy's visit to the site, Morgan allowed us to walk where Kennedy walked. NERVA, the nuclear rocket engine program. NERVA still gleaming decades later. After 3 decades of shining a light on programs and projects that were otherwise shrouded in mystery, Darwin Morgan is set to retire from DOE. He hopes he can still visit the site from time to time and plans to write more about the untold history.
It's amazing, though, the amount of things I've been able to see in my career out there.
George Knapp reporting for Mystery Wire.